Well, hi, everybody. It's Ron Hoon. We have some kind of show coming up for you in about a minute. Keep hanging with us for Fox 10 Talks. The man who created Smashburger is going to be joining us live in this next hour. It's quite a story. And Senator Mark Kelly for U.S. President is getting some talk today. It's all coming up on FTT. Don't go away. It's 10 o'clock, and this is Fox 10 Talks. Boy, there is a lot of focus today on Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. He spends a lot of time in Washington. As a matter of fact, we're talking about special prosecutor, special counsel Jack Smith, who had been in the process of investigating President Trump. And then there were some hackles raised up on Capitol Hill after it was discovered that certain key members of the, I think primarily the Senate, that some phone records were being accessed and people were asking a lot of questions. Well, today's the day that he is being called before Congress to go under oath and to answer some questions. So you're going to be hearing some of that here in just a moment. I'm Ron Hoon. This is Fox 10 Talks. If you've just discovered us, welcome aboard. We call it the friendliest chat online. So come on in and be sure to say hi. Also, big story today about Mark Kelly and whether or not he might consider running for president in 2028. It's our poll question, and here are your options. You can grab it on that QR code. Yes, I'd like to see it happen. He's the perfect candidate to beat the Republicans. No, there are other Democrats with a better chance. Or you can see 14% right now. We'll watch these numbers start to move around. The next person that votes, the numbers are going to keep moving. I'd rather see him keep serving as a senator for Arizona. So that's coming up. We also have, as I had mentioned offline just a second ago, the man who created Smashburger. It's a great American success story. That's coming up. And we're going to talk to Mark Malerich from our sports department. Are we getting closer to a new head coach for the Cardinals? A lot of teams have already named who their new leader is going to be. And so we want to find out a little bit more about that. Plus, ASU's schedule just came out. Do they look like they were a real strong contender for this next year's football season? But let's keep rolling. We're going to show you exactly what was being said in these highly anticipated hearings. Jack Smith, certainly a key figure when it comes to investigating now President Donald Trump. At the time he was investigating him, he was only a presidential candidate, and he wrapped up all of that as the new DOJ came in. But with some of the questions being asked, here's what it looked like.
Democrats have been going after President Trump for 10 years, for a decade, and the country should never, ever forget what they did. Over the next few hours, we're going to hear a lot of yelling and screaming, I assume, from the other side, but we should never forget what took place, what they did to the guy we, the people, elected president twice.
But Donald Trump says you're a criminal and you belong in prison. He says you belong in prison, not because you did anything wrong, mind you, but because you did everything right. You pursued the facts, you followed the law, you stuck with extreme caution to every rule of professional responsibility. You had the audacity to do your job.
I made my decisions without regard to President Trump's political association, activities, beliefs, or candidacy in the 2024 election. President Trump was charged because the evidence established that he willfully broke the law, the very laws he took an oath to uphold. Grand juries in 2 separate districts reached this conclusion based on his actions, as alleged in the indictments they returned. Rather than accept his defeat in the 2020 election, President Trump engaged in a criminal scheme to overturn the results and prevent the lawful transfer of power. After leaving office in January of 21, President Trump illegally kept classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago social club and repeatedly tried to obstruct justice to conceal his continued retention of those documents.
So we're going to keep an eye on it as it goes on. This morning, you can anticipate more fireworks from both the Republican and the Democrat side as this whole story unfolds today in Washington, D.C. And then we will see what the big headlines are that come out of it. But he's continuing to insist that now President Trump, when he, over the course of this investigation, which lasted many months, that according to him, the president was committing crimes. So that's all a big story this morning, but there's another story in Washington this morning that is getting a lot of talk. This is from The Hill. Senator Mark Kelly told CNN that he's seriously thinking about running for president in 2028. His quote was, "I still think it needs to be the right person for the moment. We don't know what that moment is yet." But then the story from The Hill goes on to say that he's been in a fight, of course, with Pete Hegseth, who runs the Department of War. Kelly sued earlier this month for attempting to censure him and lower his retirement rank after he participated in that video urging service members to reject illegal orders. So he said, as a senator, quote, "I have in theory, supercharged First Amendment speech rights under the speech and debate clause, and they are trampling on that." That video that he posted right from his office saying it should send a shiver down the spine of every American. Now, look, we're just getting our first chance to launch the poll question. So it is early in the hour. We're going to check in with Dave. If we've got some comments already, we'll go for it. If not, we can hang out a little bit later and check in on it. But let's see how the poll question is moving around. Yeah, as a matter of fact, literally just in the last 5 minutes. So should he run for president? 17% now say, yeah, he's the perfect candidate to beat the Republicans. 59% say there are other Democrats. Obviously, there are some big names out there from AOC to Gavin Newsom and even Kamala Harris. There's that number's at 59%, and 24% say, look, I would rather see him just keep serving as a senator for Arizona. Now, on YouTube, okay, hold on. Okay, let's go to Dave right now. We're having a couple of issues here getting our YouTube polls up, but Dave, what are you seeing?
Yeah, we have to play nice with the AZAM team. They use the same computer we do for some days.
Sure.
So anyway, we've got more than 500 votes on this. Yes, he's the perfect candidate to beat the Republicans, is 40%. No, there are other Democrats with a better chance. That's 35%. And I'd rather see him keep serving as a senator for Arizona. That's 25%. A few comments. Paul in Asia 555 says, I would prefer AOC. And Richard G. Hornley 5995 says he should run for president. That way he'll no longer be a senator. Will easily be beaten by Vance for president. He can then retire from politics. So a lot of interesting comments already. Keep them up, guys. We love hearing from you.
Boy, I mean, it's funny. We only posted this, Celeste, 30 minutes ago. I didn't have my chance normally to come on Fox 10 and kind of get people going on it, but already we're getting some amazing comments.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Ron Hoon, did you get a haircut?
No.
I don't know if you've combed it a different way.
Hold on here.
Can we get
we need the audience decide.
we need a close up.
I try to put off a haircut. I always go like 2 weeks too long.
Are you trying to grow a pony?
Never. Celeste, I can't predict the future. But there's one thing I can predict. I will never grow a ponytail.
Were you?
I have all kinds of opinions about that kind of thing, but that'll be for another day.
If we ever have a man bun day,
yes.
I think we can maybe ask AI to create Ron
Here's
Hoon
Syleste.
with a
Okay.
man bun.
Celeste, what is it that's different about my hair?
I don't know.
Can
It
I
looks
just ask?
good. I don't know. I mean, it looks good every day, but
Okay,
it
it
looks
looks better than usual.
It just looks a little maybe like feathered to the side. It's
Feathered.
just maybe combed. Did
Sure.
you use a different brush?
Hey, no, let me tell you this. Every guy wants to be told that his hair looks really feathered.
Yeah, that's true. And nice
Okay.
blouse.
Hey, let's talk just a little bit more about a couple of big stories. Look, we have Mark Malerich coming up in 5 minutes.
Amazing.
I can see him. He's already in on the Zoom. There's so many big sports stories to talk about this
so
morning.
true.
You know, Indiana wins. Are they
Yeah.
the new dynasty in football? How did Kurt Signetti pull it off in the first place? How's ASU looking now that brand new schedule just got released?
Yep.
And are we getting closer to a head coach for the Cardinals?
Yeah, there's 3 big headlines, I think. And there's a lot of times where sports melds into top news, quote unquote, headlines, air quotes.
The biggest thing on TV every single year is just about any football game.
Absolutely.
I mean, what if you were running the NBA or MLB or any of those kind of things? You're like, hey, don't forget, we're still here. Football is king of the hill, whether it's NFL
really
or
is.
college. So,
Yes.
anyway, that's all coming up. Stay with us for that. Plus the man, and he's a cool guy who invented Smashburger.
Wow.
Joins us later this hour. But let's get to this other story. We do always want to update you on what we feel. Oh, by the way, ready? Here we go. So if you haven't seen this new video this morning, this is interesting because it's from the police perspective, and it shows the moments that the mogul, the farming mogul over in California, was taken into custody. And there you can see them putting... Now, he's a little older. This is video, Celeste, from just a few days ago. It was 2 days before Christmas.
Yeah.
And you can see the garage there, Abadi Farms, very well known over in that Imperial Valley over in California. But investigators here in Arizona say he's the one who shot and killed his estranged wife, who was very well known up at the Pine Top Lakeside area. And the Navajo County Sheriff's Department says that apparently they were embroiled in some kind of bitter divorce battle.
Yeah, I think it had been a couple of years, actually, since they had been separated. And you're right, Ron. We had, when you were off, we had Josh in, our attorney, our legal eagle here in the studio. And he had looked a little bit farther into the case. And,
can you encapsulate what he had to say about it?
Well, we talked about how, I mean, obviously the court paperwork gives a ton of details on what happened, but 14 acres they have in Pine Top Lakeside. The wife was...
Which is amazing in itself.
Yeah, the wife was living apparently at that property. I think she had a nephew or a family member who was there even at the time of the crime. Yeah. And also, it was very interesting because I believe her family is like a pioneer family to the Pine Top Lakeside. Yeah, There's a road named after them. She has a lot of family up in that area. Yeah. And so it really shook the White Mountains.
Oh, I'm sure.
More than, and on a property of 14 acres, he shared it's difficult because it's not like you have cameras from across the street. You know, the home
That's a good point.
The home is inside. I think there was one of my friends lives half the year up in Pine Top Lakeside, and she said part of their property, and Josh confirmed this, I believe, is up against the forest land. Okay. So you don't have a lot of people who know a lot of things about what happened, or maybe even heard them arguing or heard what happened. So I think it hits home for a lot of Arizonans, especially up in that part of the state.
Well, I think, if you've spent any time here in the desert,
yeah,
especially as long and hot as our summers are, you probably dream of having a home up in that Pine Top Lakeside
it's gorgeous
area.
Up there.
Even if you were on a quarter of an acre, but 14 acres of land, that really is incredible. Now, here we go with the mystery cam. Going to make sure we get it on here nice and early. Brian's going to bring up the music while you guys give us your guesses, and we'll be back in 2 minutes. That's really pretty.
Gorgeous.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is Mystery Cam answer time. And Celeste, I can't wait to find out where these cool waters are.
Yeah.
Let's look at some of our guesses, and you tell us what you're seeing.
So we're seeing Bobby Q Cat says Naples, Florida.
Bobby, one of our newer guessers.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard, Bobby.
Welcome. Thomas Brown, Washington.
Okay.
Troy says Louisiana. Darla Nicole says Utah. And Halakita says North Carolina.
Okay.
We have several North Carolinas and Northern Cali from or Utah. Darla Nicole. Darla is saying, maybe I'll go Northern Cali or Utah.
Oh, you can hedge your bets on this program. We don't have a lot of rules. Brandon says California. Little Philosophy is thinking it could be Alabama.
I think I'm going to go North Carolina only because they have those long piers. I feel like
really
I don't
is
know,
that the land of long piers? I didn't even realize.
I think that's our new slogan, actually, Ron.
Good. Yeah, whatever the old slogan is, it ain't working anymore. North Carolina, the land of long piers. All right, so the answer is. Oh, by the way, I'm going to go with Alabama and go with Low Philosophy.
Bama.
Yep, Bama.
Loudon, Tennessee.
Oh, for goodness sakes,
Yes,
we were
actually
all close by.
We're all kind of like neighborly.
Let's go back, and I got to figure out exactly where that is, because that is one beautiful lake.
Oh, yeah, it's gorgeous.
I used to be more of a water skier. Now I'm just a skier, but the glass, when you see a lake that glassy, all you want to do is find a buddy with a boat and get going.
Yeah, so beautiful.
Speaking of a buddy with a boat, I don't know, Mark. Mark, you're a man of many talents. Do you have a boat? Can we ever try to get a ride on your boat?
No, I'm a buddy in a car, because I wouldn't miss this for the world with you guys today. No, but that almost looked like a painting. That didn't look like a video.
Right?
It was so cool.
It's so real.
We've been looking forward to chatting with you all morning.
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
We've been busy,
buddy.
We've been busy.
Yeah, we have. All right, let's start with the Cardinals. I was rooting for Robert Saleh. I thought he would just be the perfect coach for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Did he get close? I mean, I know he's now signed with the Tennessee Titans. Was he ever close for the Cards?
He was close. He was going to visit with the Cardinals after his interview with the Titans, but I think he actually used the Cardinals as leverage to get the Titans job.
Oh.
The Cardinals were waiting with a plane, and when his interview was done with Tennessee, he was going to fly here and meet with Arizona, and the Titans said, nope, you're our guy. You're not leaving. And on top of that, Robert Saleh and the Jaguars coach do not get along, and they're in the same division, and I think he wanted to go to a division where he can really hate somebody and really want to win versus coming to a division rival where you have to play against your buddies 2 times a year. I don't think he wanted to play against Kyle Shanahan. So I think that was it's too bad that we lost out on him, but we'll see where they go from here, but it still looks like a long ways away.
So who do you think, for those of us who are, big fans of the Cards, who's a top contender?
Well, the odds-on favorite right now is Vance Joseph, the Broncos defensive coordinator, which I know Cardinals fans don't want to hear. He was the defensive coordinator here when Cliff Kingsbury was the head coach. But I don't think they're going to go that route. I think you're going to have to go with a young coordinator again, like they did with Jonathan Gannon, because the job just isn't that appealing. You don't have a quarterback. You have very little salary cap room. And, it's an organization that traditionally hasn't won. So I have a feeling the Cardinals are going to be the last ones at the table, just picking whatever's left over. But a guy that I like is Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator of the Bills. I honestly don't think the Bills staff should have been fired. I know this is the year they should have got over the hump.
Yeah.
But he's a young up-and coordinator who's well-respected in the league. And I think you need somebody like that to kind of turn this thing around.
Okay. All right. You heard it here first from Mally. We'll find out here. Hopefully, Mark, would you guess in the next few days? I mean, these other jobs are filling up fast.
I would say in the next couple weeks.
Okay.
I would say in the next 2 weeks. They're bringing in people for second interviews. They're making phone calls. But I think once Monty Ossenfort and Michael Bidwell say they're comfortable with this is our guy, they'll make the decision. I don't think they want to wait and be the last ones. I think they want to be aggressive and get someone in the door and start working on this thing.
Well, one of the things we like here on this particular pod is hot takes. I'm going to play the video. You give us your hot take. Will Kyler Murray be the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals in the 2026 season?
That's an easy answer. No.
Oh, where do you think?
Even a hot take.
Where do you think he goes?
No, I I think that both need a fresh start. I think Kyler needs a fresh start, and I think the Cardinals need a fresh start. I like Kyler Murray as a player. I just think, in the NFL, it just didn't work, and the systems he was put in and having multiple coaches over his time here, it didn't work. So if you can get away from some of the money, hopefully somebody maybe trades for him, but I don't think that's going to happen. Then you waive him. But who knows? Maybe part of the interview process is, maybe Michael Bidwell says, we're keeping Kyler Murray. What can you do with him? And then the next coach has to say, I can fix him. I can do this. But I just don't see, after the way they handled this injury last year when he could have come back and played, and it seemed like they kind of said, we don't want you to get hurt. So, we're just going to kind of keep you out of our plans.
All right, let's talk about ASU because, Coach Kenny, the whole Valley says, let Kenny cook. I know that there was a little disappointment the way it all ended with Sam Levitt. I guess we can wish him well at LSU. Couple of big questions here. We're going to talk about the schedule with you in a minute and what you think their prospects are. But what does the future look like at quarterback for Coach Kenny?
Well, they've got a pretty good stable of quarterbacks. Cutter Boley, the kid they brought in from Kentucky as a transfer, is a guy that Kenny actually recruited to Oregon when he was the offensive coordinator at Oregon. So, if Oregon was looking at that kid, he had a lot of talent. So you have him. You have the Jake Fetty kid that's a true freshman coming in from El Paso who actually practiced with the team in the Sun Bowl. And listen, if Kenny Dillingham can win games with Jeff Sims, who, is limited as a quarterback, more of a runner, and he can win games with them, he can win with anybody. And in the transfer portal, they loaded up at wide receiver and had all the skill positions. So they're going to be just fine. I think this program is more a Kenny thing than it is a quarterback thing. If Kenny is here, you're going to have a winning team every year. If he's not, you could have Sam Levitt and, Frank Kush be coaching the team, and maybe it doesn't work out as good. But in this era, with Kenny Dillingham at the controls, I think Sun Devil fans should just feel good about everything.
I'm glad you mentioned that. There's a lot of people that, a lot of players that they picked up in that transfer portal. What are your thoughts, if you can, just on the transfer portal? It has completely changed the way we see college athletics.
I'm not a big fan of the transfer portal. I'm not a big fan of a question that was asked to Carson Beck before the national championship game. A reporter asked him, how was it working through this week with your classes? And he said, I graduated 2 years ago. He didn't have class. So you have a quarterback who, maybe he's registered for something as a grad student or whatever, but playing quarterback at who knows how old he was, 24 maybe at the time. But I think what they need to do with the transfer portal is say you get one freebie. You can go once, but then if you transfer again, you need to sit out a year like it used to be. Because now what you're seeing is kids are jumping year to year to year to year to year, playing for maybe 4 different schools in 4 years. And that to me just doesn't seem right.
Let's talk about their schedule, because it looks to me like their 3 toughest games, well, actually their 4 toughest games are all on the road. They're at U of A, they're at BYU, they're at Texas Tech, and they're at Texas A&M. It's going to be a tough slog this year.
Well, and A&M is week 2 also, and you get Morgan State before that as kind of your cupcake, if you will, the warm-up game. But I looked at the schedule, and I was talking to Richard yesterday about it seems like the 6 home games, they should go 6-0 at home, theoretically. And so that's good. That's good for the home crowd. That's good for the sellout streak they have going. That's good for the Valley. Now, with a new quarterback, with new players, and with this system, to me, if you can win half of those road games, let's say you finish 9-3. Are you going to be mad as an ASU fan if you finish 9-3? Maybe you don't make a big bowl game, but you have another solid year like last year with the potential to build for another 10 or 11 win season. Yeah. In the couple years. I mean, when have we had this with ASU? We haven't had this kind of like longevity with a team winning year to year to year in a long time. So, Sun Devil fans that kind of get upset about last year, things didn't go well, but they still won 8 games and then played well in the bowl game, highly entertaining. I mean, to me, that's all you want as a college fan and somebody that you went to school at that school. You say, okay, at least they're in it. At least they're they got a chance.
You're bringing up a good point, because I think for so many years we lived with the Sun Devils not winning hardly any games for a long time. And so you got to count your blessings for sure. Can we move on? We got about 3 minutes with you. Let's talk about Indiana and Fernando Mendoza and how Cignetti kind of changed the outlook for this university and the outlook for college athletics in general. I love the fact that he had all these guys that seemed like boys next door, 2-star athletes, people that was young men that were overlooked, and it's totally opposite from one of these big universities. What they do, he did something different and it worked.
Yeah, how did he do it, Mark?
Well, I think he did it by believing in himself. And when he first got on campus, he went to a Indiana basketball game, and that's like religion there. And he told the crowd, he goes, "Look, I'm here to win. We're gonna show Michigan and Ohio State that we're gonna be better than them, and we're gonna compete for a national championship." And he finished with, "I win. Google me." And he's telling these kids, "Look at my track record." And it goes to show you, like, some of these guys that are older and have been in their career longer. He brought in some kids from James Madison. He brought in from smaller schools that they just play the right way. Mm-hmm. And I almost liken it to when the Suns and the Spurs had their battles in the 2000s, where it's like the Suns had all this talent and they're up and down, and it's like they win all these games, and the Spurs would just kind of methodically make the right play and do the right thing, and it was boring, but they would win. And that to me is like Indiana is like, it's a bunch of kids that say, you know what? Everything this guy is telling us is working, so let's just keep doing it, and it paid off.
Let me try to squeeze one more in real quick here, because Troy is asking in the chat, is Bobby Hurley done? I guess after the game, he said, I failed. I don't know what else I can say. I can't get through to the team. Are we nearing the end of the Bobby Hurley time?
It's the last year of his contract, and I think so, and I think he knows it, and this team is kind of checked out on him, and that's what he was saying in the press conference. It's like, I call stuff, and they don't listen. He went as far to say they issue credit. It's a sterile environment. It used to be electric, and now it's just dead in there. I mean, he kind of went scorched earth, but in a very calm, almost defeated way, almost like he does feel like he failed, and it's kind of over with. And, I don't think they'll fire him because he's in the last year of his contract, but I don't think he'll be back next year.
There you go. I mean, there have been high hopes for a long time, and it just hasn't quite jumped.
I know.
Celeste, we got to do this more often.
We really do.
Now, too. It's tough for the Big 12.
Yeah, there you go. 13 of the best minutes on any streaming show you're ever going to find.
Can I relive this last 13 minutes, please?
Hey, look, if we didn't have to keep doing the show, I'd scrub back 13 minutes and watch.
Mark, thank you for your time, buddy. We'll see you in the newsroom here this afternoon. Bye.
Okay, time for a break. We'll be right back. Okay, well, there you go. Just another part of the USA, Celeste, where they're dealing with the snow. And by the way,
yes.
it sounds pretty ominous, this deep freeze that is going to start kind of in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex is just going to stretch all the way across the rest of the country. I mean, it's going to be rough.
I mean, last week there were areas south of Atlanta that had snow, which they don't usually see. Florida,
yes, right,
like
Florida.
Alabama, Floribama, they all saw snow.
Yeah.
Beautiful shot, though, here. You can see that great church, it looks like, on the left-hand side of the screen.
That is nice.
But everyone is abiding by the law on the roadways, it looks as
I
though.
wonder if you get a lot of freeway noise on Sundays when you're in church.
Oh, maybe you hear
That's
people
awfully
praising the
close.
Lord, Ron.
Let's raise
Put your windows down.
Hey, as you know, we've been trying to introduce you to a lot of names in the political world as we, approach a pretty big election season. Rick McCartney joins us today, and you want, as many others who have joined us, are interested in CD1.
Congressional 1, absolutely. Arizona's first congressional district. And there are a few people in this race, and I think it's because it's quite an open race. Now that David Schweikert has pulled out and is running for governor, I think all old bets are off, and it is about bringing in new blood and making a strong difference. And this district, as you both probably know, is filled with educated people with opportunity. And there are great ways for us to turn that into something that can build policy and affect our lives here.
Share a little bit about yourself, family, where you're from. You said you moved here 30 years ago.
Yeah, I moved here 30 years ago. So I've lived in this district for 30 years. I raised my family in this district, built my business from this district, which is a media company, mostly publishing, which has gotten me very involved with nonprofit organizations, signed and brought on board to government councils, mostly workforce related. I believe jobs is probably the greatest solution to a lot of our issues. I mean, a good paying job matters to a small family. It matters to the community. So I've been very focused on that for years,
And yet
appointed by governors to those councils to uplift, upskill, build apprenticeship programs, and that's important.
We have seen maybe the worst year in tech, which the Valley is big with tech, let's face it. 1.2 million people lost their jobs last year alone in tech.
Yeah.
How do you turn that around?
I think you have to be focused on what other opportunities there are here. I mean, we did an awful lot to focus on bringing a lot and putting a lot of weight into these tech companies, which provided us, if you remember the headlines, hundreds and hundreds of jobs. And then all of the sudden, that volatility with a few companies and them laying people off is troublesome for us. So I think we have to, if you will, spread the wealth. We have to be focused on tourism. We have not focused on that like we need to here in Arizona. Education. I mean, there are multiple. I think AI, there are opportunities there. We have these data centers that are coming in that people are, very concerned are going to affect our environment. They're going to raise utility costs. We have to be focused on responsibilities and really guidance to be sure that does actually bring good paying jobs to this community.
You touched on the issue of tourism. When you look ahead, and you mentioned upskill, and what type of jobs are you talking about? We have a lot of resorts here already, a lot of golf courses. One of the recent stories was that now instead of Sin City, Vegas being the hot spot for bachelor parties and bachelorette, now it's Scottsdale. So what type, when you talk about tourism, type of jobs are you looking at? What does that economy look like?
Well, it's doing very well for us here because people since COVID are focusing on their neighborhood. They're focusing on home. They're focusing on staycations, right? So that has helped us build the restaurant business. The hospitality business is growing leaps and bounds in this community, and there's a lot we can do to enhance that.
So one of the reasons this race is so fascinating is there's so many candidates, particularly on the Democratic side. Celeste, I think we've already had at least a half a dozen.
Yep.
And that's your first race, right? Eventually, you'll face off
the primary
in the general election if you win. What makes you? Do you think this is a chance for you to really, I think, maybe separate yourself from the rest of the pack? Makes you the best choice among so many Democrats that voters will have to choose from.
I think it comes down to my experience and the work that I've already been doing as, for all intents and purposes, a representative of this community, working to get people jobs, focusing on healthcare issues, which we have done symposiums. We have brought leaders of healthcare companies, hospitals together to really talk about the major issues and bridge those gaps to great effect and strong impact for the people of this district. I have led those organizations. I have been involved not out of ego and entitlement, but because it's a way to get things done. I consider myself a doer, and I have that background. People will talk, and we hear it all the time, about what a fighter I'm going to be. I'm going to go to Washington and I'm going to fight. We need to look not at what they say they're going to do, but what they have done. And my track record for 30 years has had an incredible impact on this community, and it's why I was asked to run. It's why I believe we can win and be the strongest candidate in the general election, something we haven't done in 15 years in this district as a Democrat.
All right. I think a fighter like Michael Carbajal, is that what you're thinking?
I think that's exactly it. Yeah.
How is
Do you
your
need to
left
see,
hook?
should I give a demonstration right now of my strength?
I thought I've seen you at
Yeah.
jabs, but I'm just saying.
Good. All right. Tell us one or two other things as we wrap up with you that, I don't know, might surprise us a little bit about your family or about your hobbies, or what else besides politics?
Look, what else besides politics? As we were talking about restaurants, I'm a big foodie. I know you have a segment coming up that involves food, and I think Arizona has turned into a great capital for incredible food.
What type of food do you like?
I mean,
What's a favorite meal? Like if Rick was going to dinner,
is always going to be Italian. But you know, we have some of the world's greatest Mexican restaurants here, and you know, coming originally from LA, Mexican is a big deal to me. And I'm telling you, I mean, you probably can tell from my size, I enjoy my Mexican.
You're doing just
No, I
fine.
really do.
Good.
I think it matters.
But some sort of tax incentive program for a lot more Mexican restaurants
Yeah.
in the valley.
Right now, you're
Yeah.
putting words in my mouth. I like that.
we'll
Ron.
call it
That's
the
good.
chimichanga
Whatever
tax.
it takes for us to eat more and eat better. But no, our whole goal here is to get real. It is time for us to not be focusing on all of this AI, all these things that are happening through the Republican Party and this current administration. The falsehoods, all of that stuff, we need to narrow it down, get real, talk honestly to the people of this community, and affect change. People want change here, and it's time for us to do something about it, and I am that candidate.
All right,
Okay,
Rick,
Rick.
thank you.
All right.
We
Thank
appreciate you
both very
coming in.
much. Great to
Thank you
see
so
you
much.
both.
Nice to see you.
Nice to have you in for sure.
Thanks.
Okay. Hey, several other stories that we're following this morning in Celeste. It is a special morning out in the Far East Valley in Apache Junction. People are gathering as we speak to honor a fallen officer. I love this idea. The city has made the decision to rename a street in honor of Officer Gabriel Fascio.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, they're also going to be dedicating a park in his name. This is all, I believe, out in that Blossom Rock community. So Davis Drive is now going to be known as Officer Fascio Way. And then I believe that's in Radiance. And then right nearby at Blossom Rock, they're going to actually name a park in his honor. He was shot and killed while on duty back in June. By the way, he had earlier, if he seems at all familiar and you live in Phoenix, he had worked for the Phoenix Police Department and was a father of 2 young kids. So a heartbreaking story, but they're sure doing the right thing in terms of honoring him.
Yeah, they are. We just want to take a quick moment as well to thank our men and women in blue who are protecting our communities each and every day. The chief of police in Apache Junction used to work for Tempe Police. Mm-hmm. So you have a lot of these different agencies, and Mr. Fascio, Officer Fascio, worked in Phoenix, as you mentioned, Ron. Mm-hmm. So in a lot of times you have officers from different cities who move agencies, and it really is a family in Apache Junction, and a lot of them have really banded together around his wife and his family, who's now left behind.
And you know, there's another story that's actually, you kind of consider the edge of the metro area, Apache Junction, but if you go just a few miles further out to Gold Canyon, I think people are still in a little bit of shock at this fire that happened out there all the way. In fact, we had firefighters from that area, Superstition Fire, kind of in the Apache Junction area. But they did what they could. Here was what more neighbors and others were saying.
It's probably the biggest fire that I've been on in my career. So yeah, that's it. It was almost like, I think 7,000 or 8,000 square feet. It was a big house.
I'm just glad it didn't hit like any other home. I mean, that would have been devastating.
Look at those aerial images here from Sky Fox.
Yeah, I was talking with one of our producers yesterday. I said, do you know, have we gone out there yet with Sky Fox? Because sometimes, even though the pictures are dramatic, like those pictures, at this home that is, it's got to be somebody's dream home and is just obliterated by fire, but to also see not just the fight, the actual firefight. And that interview we had yesterday with Superstition Fire, where she was saying, they made the decision to go defensive, and 60 seconds later, the roof collapsed.
It was a smart call on their.
Boy.
I mean, when you take a look at those daylight images too, Ron, it gives you an idea. There are some big, beautiful homes out there at Gold Canyon, and it is so unfortunate. Our thoughts and prayers are with their family. My goodness.
Okay, so one more story here before we're going to break, and then we are going to be talking to the man. If you love Smashburger, you're going to love this guy. He
so
probably
good.
is your personal hero.
Yes,
because
thank
he invented Smashburger. But there is one other story in the retail world. I think it's really interesting, Celeste. We should just talk about it. So we have months like No Shave November,
Yes,
and things like that. This is No Buy January. Wall Street Journal
doesn't have the same ring to it, though.
You know what, though? It's going to make a lot of you happy when you sit down and go over your credit card bills from Christmas. So a growing number of people are saying they're going to go the entire month without buying, any splurges. They'll buy their essentials, their groceries, etc. But it shows that the Google searches have been soaring in the last few weeks on what's trending. It's called No Buy January.
Well, it's now the 22nd, so are they there? I mean, there's only 11 days, 10 days.
In other words, what Celeste is saying is, you only got 8 more days. You're going to make it.
You're going to make it,
9 more days.
It's not a big deal. I will say that there are a lot of very kind of upscale consignment stores and thrift stores.
Sure.
And a lot of people are frequenting those spots because things have just gotten so darn pricey out there. It's just expensive.
Well, as a matter of fact, Celeste, remind me, we need to ask when we have Tom come in here in a couple of minutes, Tom Ryan of Vendor Smashburger. They're rolling out, in response to the $5 meat bagged meal at McDonald's or the $8 or whatever, which, by the way, $8 starting to get up there.
And that's really pricey.
$4.99 menu items at Smash.
That's more like it.
Yes.
A $4.99 good size burger.
Yeah. Well, we're really looking forward to having him on. He's coming up right after the break. So if you guys are fans of Smashburger, or maybe there's some other burger you like better, or maybe you have suggestions if you were running the restaurant, what you would do differently.
Or maybe you like to make smash burgers at home and you're looking for a tip. We've got it for you this morning.
Maybe he'll display the technique of how to smash a burger.
That's a great idea. Look at this beautiful shot. Snowy scene from one spectacular city around the country. And we're going to take a quick break. Ron, you ready for that?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, everybody, welcome back. Whenever they invent smell-o-vision, Celeste, which I still believe is not too much farther out.
Right.
You guys will not believe the spread. I don't know if we can actually get a camera.
Oh, we have a camera, I believe, that is up posted somewhere, right, Big D? We have a
that can show the spread that Tom Ryan brought in with him. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back. So it's Ron and Celeste and Tom.
Hey, Tom.
And Tom has you've now set a new record for our streaming show on YouTube around the world. Nobody's ever brought in that much food.
This is so great.
That's so great. What's this all about?
Yeah, so listen, this is our what we call our scorchin' menu at Smashburger. And actually, our tagline for this is burn with benefits, because a lot of people do hot, but we do hot with a lot of flavor.
Wow.
And so we have our scorchin' cheesy Mac burger, which is really great, which is new. We have our Scorchin' Big Dog, which is really great. We have Scorchin' Tenders. We have our $4.99 Scorchin' Chicken Sandwich. It's really great stuff, but it's really beautiful because it's not just hot, but it tastes great.
Right. You know, you have several locations here in the Valley. 13 locations. Love it. It's delicious. We were just chatting with you about your story. You live in Colorado. You're from Colorado, right?
I live there, yeah.
You live there now. Yep. Where did your work begin? Procter & Gamble's was your first job, you said, out of college?
Yeah, out of school. When I finished grad school, I got a job at Procter & Gamble, and I was there for a couple of years. I worked on chocolate and coffee. I was kind of their roasting specialist.
Wow. So you had a good nose. That was,
Yeah, it was that was a long time ago, though. And then I went to Pillsbury and worked on frozen pizza and pizza rolls and microwave popcorn.
But there are also some things that people maybe have eaten at other fast food locations. They may not know. They should credit you. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so when I got tired of packaged goods, I went to the restaurant business where things turn at a much faster pace, and I love that. Yeah. So I went to Pizza Hut. I did the Lovers line there. I did stuffed crust pizza there.
Wow.
I did the breadsticks and chicken wings. I was there for 10 years. It was great. And then I got recruited by McDonald's. Okay. So I went to Chicago, and I did menu management for the first year. Then I was the CMO there, and then worldwide chief concept officer. But I had some fun there. We did McGriddles, and we did McFlurries, and we did the dollar menu and a few other things along the way. And then I got tired of kind of big company stuff and moved to Denver met my partner, and we started Smashburger.
You look great, by the way. Do you have a lot of Smashburgers?
Yeah. Is that part of your daily
diet? It's a little bit of an occupational hazard at this point.
Right?
But yeah, I mean, I love our burgers. I think they're great.
Yeah. You said you had, what were you calling it in the break, like a fragrance, or you have a way about knowing taste or food? Or is it...
My PhD was in flavor and fragrance chemistry. So that kind of gives you a lot of technical insight that can really be applied to knowing what consumers are looking for, knowing how to optimize things, that kind of stuff.
Well, I want to hear the story of when the light bulb went off, because I go in for the smashed burger, but of course I also go in for the rosemary fries. They're unbelievable. When did the light bulb go off for you and you said, this is a niche in a highly competitive business that will work?
It was a clear moment. So when I was at McDonald's, we were going around the country doing standard market research, and our sales were doing great, but our loyalty was really low. And so we were doing some focus groups. I think we were in Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay. And I had my moderator ask, hey, you're driving down the street, and out in front of you, there's a McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King. Which one do you go to? Okay. And a woman said, the one that's the right-hand turn. Which kind of let me know with these big behemoth companies that it wasn't about craveability, it wasn't about great taste. And I knew at that moment that there was this latent demand of dissatisfaction, that there was going to be, if somebody came in and gave people a burger they really loved, that was really well thought out, that they would love it. And I knew at that moment, that's when I started working on Smashburger in my head. And then my executive chef from McDonald's came with me. He's still part of the Smashburger team. So we put a concept together, and with my partner, we got it off the ground.
First store was in Denver?
In Denver.
And then it worked pretty well, and you're like, we're going to continue. We'll go to Phoenix next, or what happened?
Yeah, we started in Denver. We probably got to 4 or 5 in Denver, and then we went to Houston. It was our first market outside of Denver. And then we were franchising. And so our original our foothold in the Phoenix market was through a really great franchise group. And then we put our franchise deals together. We had the option to buy them back at a good price when we wanted to, and it was a better way for us to spend our capital. So we reacquired them in probably 2013, maybe 2014, and we've grown the business here since.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank
It's
you.
exciting. We have a couple of questions for you in our chat. Bobby Q Cat says, smashing adds flavor. What is the smash? What does that mean, a smash burger? What is it?
Yeah, it's a technique. And actually what we do is we paint the grill with butter, and we take loosely packed meatballs and actually smash them. And that combination of deforming it on the grill gives you a really loose texture, but you also caramelize in that butter. So you get this layer of like intense beef flavor. It's really steaky. And then what also happens is because it's so loosely balled, the juices actually percolate up through the burger. And so they're burgers that done right. It's burgers that base themselves in their own juice, and it's just the content of flavor per gram is like amazing.
Well, in your line of work, value has never been more important. And I saw in all this material that got sent to us ahead of time something about a $4.99 all the time value meal. What's on that value meal, and how can you make stuff for $4.99 and still turn a profit?
It's interesting. It's a great question. First of all, the $4.99 is a menu of 5 items that we kind of do some rotating on. Right now, we have a deluxe burger, which is a lettuce and tomato burger. We have an all-American. We have a couple of chicken sandwiches, including this new scorchin' chicken sandwich here, and then we have one of our big dogs, our Americana big dog, and it's $4.99 all the time. And we thought that, and how can you do that? It's the same ingredients, the same quality, but it's a segment of our menu, and so we have all these other more expensive premium things, and so when you do that amalgam of different recipes together, you can afford to do some of them at a price point that people can afford multiple times in a week.
So you mentioned, named a couple of them out, but can you walk us through maybe some of the ones that you did not talk about?
Yeah, so this is our cheesy mac. So this is our cheesy mac. It's a double. It's a smash burger. It's a classic smash burger. Then we take a really nice mac and cheese, and we actually put it on the grill and smash it. So you can't see on the other side of this. It's got this caramelized. You know, when you eat mac and cheese and you want to eat the top off.
Yes,
that's what the whole thing's like.
Oh wow!
So it's really beautiful, and it displays cheese better than any slice of cheese could ever do. So I think it's the cheesiest way to have a cheeseburger you could possibly have. Yeah. And then we have a scorching version where we take our scorching seasoning and mix it in with the mac and cheese. So we have it both ways. So if you want it spicy, you can have it that way. And then last summer we introduced the big dogs. So this is our scorching and regular.
And you
dog.
cut the hot dog in half.
Yes,
like you cut it open.
So we grill it. We split it to grill it. This is the
one we're talking about.
Yes.
Yep.
Right?
And this is it's kind of a New England style lobster roll, but it fits the hot dog great, and it's toasted on the side. So all of our buns are butter toasted, including the big dog buns. So it's really fun.
It is. Look at the outside of that hot dog bun, Ron.
Yeah. Okay, so when I was chatting with Tom in the newsroom before we went on here with Fox 10 Talks, and by the way, keep bringing those questions in. We love them, that's for sure. One of the questions I asked was, how do you decide on locations? And you've got we have your whole executive team here.
Well,
you travel with an
CEO,
entourage.
Jim Sullivan's here, and he's running the business, so I get to do this front man stuff.
It's really good.
He
this
manages
is way more
the
fun,
business.
right?
Yeah.
It is for me.
But how do you decide when you have reached, say, maximum capacity or saturation? You got 20 stores in Denver. We're every bit as big. In fact, I think we're bigger now with 5 million people here in the metro area. How do you decide where the next location? I'm sure you're not done in Phoenix.
Yeah, there's a lot of analytics that go into making those decisions. Right. Obviously, it's a function of how big is the trade area, right? And then how big is the total trade area? Right. And then really it's a matter of workplace and rooftops and traffic patterns and all those things. So as cities start to grow, or as we want to grow into them, you can actually rank order where the key sites are that you target.
Now, have you heard of the city of Mesa? Okay, good. That's where I live.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure you.
I know it's coming next. I think.
Coming up soon, Ron.
Butte Road?
It's coming up, Ron.
Just if there's no other takeaway, Signal Butte Road.
What are a couple of the lessons that you've learned as a business owner? And I know it's a full question. There's probably a lot of answers to that. But when you think about kind of the trials of owning your own business and growing something to be this large, what is it? Do you think?
I think you got to realize up front, no one wins alone. So you got to surround yourself at any point in time with as many great people as you can and enable them. And then second, you got to be brave. I mean, I think a lot of people, and you got to be smart and brave at the same time because it takes both.
One of the other things that I've noticed, I was just overseas not too long ago on a vacation, and you go into a fast food place anymore, there's like nobody around to help you. There's like 8 kiosks.
Yeah.
Are we headed more and more just by virtue of, the overall cost and expense to a sort of an automated? I think I heard about a test McDonald's in Fort Worth, Texas or something where you order on the app, you pull up to the drive-through and it just sort of it knows it's you, with the geolocating on the phone, and the meal just sort of comes out on an automated tray. What does the future look like?
So that technology is actually very coveted by consumers and operators alike. Mm-hmm. And so we have several stores in test with self-order kiosks, and actually they actually empower people and enable people to make guiltless decisions without having to tell anybody.
Honestly,
interesting. So basically they're more inclined to order different things. Okay. They can see the whole menu there, so they don't have that in the moment kind of stage fright.
And you're kind of like nervous about, I have a long line behind me. I have to hurry. Yeah.
So it's much more karmic. Mm-hmm, and as a consequence, what we're learning is that people actually engage our menu much more aggressively through a kiosk than they do at the front counter. And so is there a future? Of course. And I think there's always going to be some level of consumer interaction because we run the food to your table. So it's not, you don't go back. Yeah. So there is still that human contact. But for order entry, I mean, it does take the guilt and the stress away from that.
And then, as we're talking about some of these items, is there like a boardroom or like how does the concept begin?
Do you have an official taste tester?
How does it all come together? Hey, I have this idea. Is there a suggestion box like outside your office? Like, how does that whole thing work?
Yeah, that's some of the magic in the business is where do those ideas come from? And they come from a lot of places. We get a lot of ideas from our vendors. We get a lot of ideas from our partners in the field. We go to a lot of restaurants and eat. We do a lot of menu searches online. And then, you got to kind of have your finger on the pulse of like, how do you talk about things that really make people, that drive appetite appeal? And so a little bit is fact-based and data-based, and the other one's just creating, and then the approach needs to be magic. It needs to have this kind of eye appeal and that kind of striking look and feel. And then Smashburger is all about great taste, great taste, great taste. It's so core to our values that we fight really hard and work really hard to make sure that that great taste shows up in everything we do, right down to the French fries.
Interesting.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I know you invented the Smashburger. Who came up with the rosemary fries? Because that guy needs like a statue.
A raise.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're the man.
I was. Yeah.
Nice work.
There's a quick story on that.
Okay. 20 seconds left. Short version.
We needed a fry that stood up to the flavor of our burgers. And just regular fries were okay, but rosemary was the only one that really broke through.
Nice.
And since we have 40 seconds left, I just want to say this.
Okay.
For all your listeners, go to any Smashburger in Phoenix today and say Fox 10, and we will give you a free burger.
Oh,
so free. Any of our participants, just for today, say Fox 10, and the burger's on us today.
I think we found our new sponsor, Big D.
We got a lot of viewers. You better fire up that grill.
Have a great day, everyone. Thanks, Tom.
welcome on in. We're going to keep things rolling here on Fox 10
Always.
Talks at 11. Another jam-packed show. Hard to follow all that delicious food.
It
Smells
is.
good in here now.
They didn't leave us any, did they?
There's a lot out there. We can still. I
we're
think we
gonna
can go grab some after the show.
So we're gonna go from hot dogs and French fries and smash burgers to a CPA, a beautiful CPA. Hi, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth,
Hi.
good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Obviously, this is kind of the time of the year where folks start compiling all those tax information, and it starts coming in the mail.
Receipts.
I put it all in one giant pile. It gives me anxiety as I see it start to grow. But this is kind of the time of the year where folks need to start thinking about that, right?
Correct. Absolutely. And there's been a lot of tax changes for 2025 and 2026 and
All right,
beyond.
let's start with, we'll talk about businesses in a second, but let's talk about just for individuals, what some of those big tax changes are going into this year.
Well, the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, the increased ability to deduct state and local taxes, which is big outside of Arizona for the most part because the taxes here are very low and very exciting. Those are the main key points. But moving forward for 2026, there's a lot of retirement plan changes. So once you're over 50, you can do an extra $8,000 into your retirement plan, which is pretty exciting.
So retirement plan meaning
a 401k.
Really?
Yes.
So an extra $8,000 a year, and you don't get taxed on that?
Well, that's the caveat there. You can put the $8,000 in, but it will be in a Roth. So it won't be a tax deduction, but it will grow tax-free.
Wow.
Let's talk about, it's sometimes hard to navigate. And I know a lot of folks try and do this on their own with like a TurboTax or those companies that are offered. And I think even here in the state of Arizona, they have like a free tax service. But it can sometimes get complicated. And if you get in the weeds, sometimes it's hard to get out of those weeds.
Correct.
What are some of the biggest, maybe, I guess, issues that you see when folks are trying to do their taxes on their own? I think the last thing anybody wants is the IRS knocking on their door.
I know.
Yes. So if they did anything unusual, like if you rolled over an IRA or a 401k and you took the money and then deposited it somewhere else, that's a big issue.
Sure.
If your deductions are too big or things don't add up.
Yes.
If I can piggyback off that question, if you have someone else do your taxes for you, and obviously they have to sign off on it, if something down the line doesn't add up, the IRS goes to them. Do they come to you? Are you less likely to get in trouble?
Well, the taxpayer is ultimately responsible. So
because you're
really
signing
need to
off.
You're the one with the
carefully.
signatures on the bottom. Okay.
Yes.
But that's a great question that she added. Like, how do you find a professional to do your taxes? Obviously, we can call you, but I'm sure you're pretty busy and booked already. What should you be looking for when you are looking for someone to do your taxes?
You really need to sit with someone that understands, that gets you, because oftentimes people say things, they don't really understand it, and you need someone that can kind of guide you through the process, so that has experience, is asking you lots of questions.
Sure.
That's a real key thing. So like turning your forms in and then hoping for great
best.
results.
Let's talk about, we'll get to businesses. I know you really want to chat about that, but let's say someone is filing single, like what can they write off? Like a professional, or like we used to be able to write off things like makeup or dry cleaning or hair products, and that changed, several years back. But what can you write off, and what can business owners write off?
Well, if you're a W-2 employee, there's very little anymore that you can write off actually at all, unless you're getting overtime or tips and you're in a lower tax bracket.
We need to start taking tips, Anita.
I think that's a great idea. Anybody have $1 out there?
Send me. We'll have our Venmo at the bottom.
That's an excellent idea. When you say you don't have to pay taxes on tips, so literally you don't even have to worry about counting that. You don't have to declare anything.
You're capped at $25,000. Which, if you're working here in Scottsdale, you're
doing okay. Maybe we need to change professions.
There we go.
Get a Venmo. Lisa Dinsmore is asking if you're related to Hale Accounting and Payson.
No,
Okay.
I am not.
Had to ask. Someone's throwing it out there. You had to ask. What can businesses do? What do they need to be aware of?
Businesses can write off. I mean, the bonus depreciation is back. That's very exciting. So if you're buying heavy equipment or vehicles, but if you're also R&D credits are back.
What is R&D?
Any kind of research that you're doing, if it's based on like any technology companies, you can also qualify even if you don't have a technology company. If your new innovation could be in manufacturing or robotics, it just has to be based on some hard science.
Okay. And again, the thing is with these businesses, if you don't talk to a professional, they might know kind of some different ways that could potentially be saving you money, or things that you don't even know are out there to be saving you money.
Some legitimate ways.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So you really have to partner with your professional advisor so that you're getting at ECPA. We're constantly planning. We're constantly evaluating the financials of the business and seeing what opportunities there are.
Yeah.
You're constantly learning, aren't you? I mean, you have to almost re-educate yourself each and every single year, because each and every single year it seems that something changes that is going to change the way you do someone's taxes.
Exactly. There are a number of changes. Just, like this, you can deduct car interest now.
Yeah.
That's new this year. You can.
I don't even know what auto car interest is.
So if you got a loan for your vehicle, you can deduct the interest.
Got it.
You
Silly
couldn't.
question. Okay.
There's a plethora of just entities structuring. If you're a C Corp by chance, you can exclude the gain on the sale of your business. So if you're a startup that is ramping up to sell, private equities out there wanting to buy, you can really exit.
This is why I have someone.
Do you focus all on businesses yourself?
We have businesses and the owners of those businesses.
Nice.
So we're dealing with a lot of individuals too.
And are you taking new clients?
Yes, we are.
All right. So if folks have questions, or maybe they need someone to help them with their taxes, because again, it's right around the corner. April 15th is going to be here before
I was going to say it's on the civics test. Our high school students have to pass the civics test now
with a 70%.
With a 70%. And one of the questions we were talking about yesterday was when are your taxes due? When's tax day? So you're ready.
We're ready.
We're ready. Okay, we'll put all your info up on the website. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate
it was good to see you.
Yeah. Other big thing that we are talking about today are cell phones. And I think this is a really important question for a lot of people, a lot of parents especially. At what age are you giving your son, your daughter, a cell phone?
And I think this is really important to talk about, because there's been a lot of research done about cell phone usage and maybe some mental health decline when it comes to those cell phones as well.
But I think that there is, this is kind of tricky because, there's a certain age where you say, okay, I'm going to give my kids a cell phone at 13 when they're able to walk home from school on their own. But they go to school at age 6 and their friends have cell phones and they want a cell phone.
There's this whole pledge that's online. It's called Wait Until 8th, which is basically kind of wait until 8th grade before you give your child a smartphone. So we thought, let's dive into kind of the science behind all of this. We have one of our friends from Banner Health. Give us your name one more time, sir.
My name is Goriparthi.
I just don't want to screw it up.
Dr. Goriparthi, welcome back. Welcome back. What do you think? 8th grade, is that too old, too early?
Well, it's... you need to not have a cell phone at all, if possible, which is a smartphone, until you're like off age, as in college age, ideally.
Wow.
But having said that, you live in a digital world. Most of our courses, school curriculums, everything is on a phone. So phone is like the lifeline of our life.
Is there a difference between a phone and a tablet when you give it to the kids, you think?
No. There's a slight difference between the tablet and the phone. Tablet is considered the property of the family, kind of, and the phone is very personal, so you take the phone everywhere you go. It's in your pocket. It's under your pillow. It's next to your nightstand. So phone is much more personal, is what I think.
Why do you say that it's not, maybe you shouldn't give that phone until you're a little bit older? What are some of the issues that parents are facing and these kids are facing?
Yeah. So as we all know, our kids are developing until the age of 17, 18. Their brains are developing too until the age of 20, maybe. For the first few years of our brain development, we call it neuroplasticity, wherein our brain is pruning old connections, forming new connections, getting rewired every single time. So let's just say the kid is solving a problem, a math problem, at the age of 7. The kid's brain is making that connection, right? So the brain is getting stimulated. Every stimulation causes a new connection. Every social interaction causes a new connection. Every new emotion causes a new connection.
But if they're texting constantly or scrolling through social media constantly, are they not making that connection?
They are making that connection, but let's just say you and I are talking right now, right? I can say something to you and you would say something back to me. Before I say something to you, I'm looking at your face. I'm looking at your emotions. I may want to say something inappropriate, but I would obviously prune my language, right? Sure. But on a text message, I don't see the emotion with you. So it's this unfiltered language that goes out, unfiltered emotion that goes out in the text message compared to when I'm talking to you face to face.
We've also heard of kind of like online bullying. And I know also kind of how social media can be so addicting. I feel like those are two other big factors that a lot of these parents are saying, we don't want our kids to have access to these smartphones because of those two factors.
Yes. Cyberbullying is really an important, should I say, epidemic in this world right now.
It is.
It is. And not long ago, we had a study done, one of the largest studies that we have done on adolescent brain cognitive development. We call it ABCD study. The results are astonishing. Like, kids that are 12 years old, they are spending about 7.5 hours on the phone.
Wow. A day?
What are they doing?
What are they doing? Sifting through videos and then, playing video games, one-on-one video games. And, video games then lead to social media. And there are some unregulated websites that, you go on and then before you know, you're a victim. Or you could even be a bully yourself.
We have about a minute left. How do you explain to your 12 or 13-year-old you can't have a phone right now?
Well, it's difficult to have that conversation, but the conversation has to start, right? So maybe the conversation is about screen time. Yeah. Well, if you steer it in a way that let's just do it together. Let's just do the screen time together. Build a connection. Let's just, instead of reading the old ways of reading a book, maybe we'll do the screen time together, read something from the screen. So maybe have that friendly conversation with the kid very early.
Great.
Yeah. How do folks get a hold of you if they had more questions, concerns, and because you take patients, obviously?
I actually only work in the inpatient unit in Banner, Thunderbird Medical Center.
We're in real trouble. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
No offense, doctor. But you have great information, and I know we'll put the Banner website up. And thank you so much. We'll see you again soon.
Sure.
Thank you.
Take care.
Screen time.
No, I know. I sometimes, you kind of get stuck in there. And you get stuck scrolling. All of a sudden,
I said it the other day.
5 hours has gone by.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll be right back, everyone. 2-minute break.
Me too.
All right, welcome back, you guys. We are continuing things here on Fox 10 Talks at 11. We have another big talker with some of our guests.
Hi.
Nice choice of words.
I'm trying to find a clever segue, you guys. We're talking about marijuana.
We have Laura here and Justin of the Biancha Brandt law firm. Did I get that correct?
Bianchi.
Bianchi. I apologize.
It's okay.
I apologize.
So close.
My Italian is not that
It's
great.
okay.
So 5-year anniversary is coming up of the passage of recreational marijuana in the state of Arizona.
How did you two kind of get, I guess, involved in the marijuana business?
I wish I. Yeah.
13 minutes.
Right. I should come up with a better story, but by accident. I'm a contract attorney, corporate attorney by trade, and it was one of those things that when it first was introduced, clients were interested, and so I said, sure, I'll work with the Department of Health Services. We were working on the rulemaking process, and we went through the rulemaking process, and then they said, well, we'd like to do the applications. Well, we knew the rules, and so it was a lot of real estate clients especially. And so we started, and it really evolved into something I could have never conceived. I mean, it's incredible what it turned into, and now it's a multi-state practice.
So if anybody in the chat, I mean, this is your time. If you have any questions about weed, these are the two folks.
Recreational weed. Right. Like if
I mean, they help.
You can ask about medical too, but yeah.
Well, it is interesting, and I think a controversial topic, because obviously we had to take this to the voters to say, yeah, we can do this. But there's so many, I guess there's a fine line as to what you can do, what you can't do. Like, for example, it's legal here if I'm traveling to a state. It's legal in 24 states, but if I'm traveling to a state where it's not legal, can I take it with me?
No.
Don't take your weed with you. PSA will tell you
not travel with marijuana products.
No.
Anywhere, even if you're going from a state that's legal to another state that's legal. If I'm going from Arizona to Arizona, or rather Arizona to New York where it's legal, I cannot take it on the plane.
No.
You're going into federal airspace and you're crossing state lines.
Oh.
So
like,
folks forget that. It's become very sort of commonplace, and people forget that it is still federally illegal. So while we have quite a few states who have, medical and adult use programs, it's still not federally legal.
Justin, I want to back up just a little bit because Anita mentioned something talking about kind of the controversy of it. And I think, I mean, when I talk about it with my parents, I mean, they're kind of from a different generation where it was kind of taboo, weed. Now I think it is becoming a little bit more mainstream. I mean, you go down the street and you see dispensaries and people are more, I guess, willing to talk about it. So do you think that is
desensitized to it?
I think a lot of it has to do with education, right? Actually, seniors are one of the fastest growing sort of customers for this industry.
Did you hear that, Mom?
I tried to convince my mom. She has a terrible time sleeping. I'm like, try something.
Absolutely.
And
Lucy does not want to play.
There's different forms. You don't have to smoke something. You can take edibles, tinctures, and so there's various ways to be introduced to marijuana. But look, we're 5 years in. The sky hasn't fallen. It's a regulated industry, which is good. There's transparency. Products are tested. Dosages are, for the most part, accurate within a little bit of wiggle room there. But it has shown that a regulated market can do it right. And go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you, when you say regulated market, what does regulated mean? Who's regulating it?
AZDHS is the primary agency that oversees Arizona's medical and recreational programs.
So what are they overseeing? What are the rules then? So if somebody is saying, okay, maybe we have someone in their 70s watching saying, I have really bad arthritis. Will this help? And then we have someone in their 20s saying, I'd like to use it recreationally, maybe on a Friday night. What are the rules?
Well, with respect to that, there's really no rules. Since we're a recreational market, anybody over 21 can go into a dispensary, and the customer experience has really elevated. It's not like you're going into some sketch sort of, strip mall place. Like the dispensaries here are focused on the customer experience, and they're educated. So somebody who's in their 70s is maybe been hearing their entire life that cannabis is, the devil's lettuce, so to speak.
I've never heard that before.
The
devil's lettuce.
We need to write that down.
They can go into a dispensary and get educated on maybe different products that might help them and what might work for them.
This isn't like a doctor, though, giving you the advice. Should you go to the doctor and
well,
say...
I think that brings up the next point.
Right,
What is the difference between recreation and medicinal? And why do we still have both if it's legal now in Arizona?
Well, so 2 different programs. They're both run by the Department of Health Services. The medical program, there are certain qualifying conditions that you have to have. You go to a medical professional, they'll issue a written certification, and there's different rules. It's treated a little bit more like healthcare. So the limit and what you can actually possess and things like that are higher. We don't have this 16% excise tax on medical, and you can talk to your medical professional. There's a different focus because it's supposed to, treat or alleviate or help something. On the adult use side, you don't need to go to a doctor. You just need to be 21 years old and have an ID and go in. But again, a little bit different rules and restrictions and 16% tax. So that's in addition to your state and local. So, 22%.
Let's talk about that tax, too, because I think that's kind of a big thing for the state as well. It's 16% on recreational marijuana over a couple of years. And you said we've been doing this for 5 years. It's our anniversary.
Oh.
How much are we talking, and where's that money going?
The tax revenue is meaningful. For example, the state treasurer puts out a report every month. In December 2025, so this past December, or a little bit over $79 million in tax revenue.
For the state of Arizona?
Yeah.
How many dispensaries do we have here? Do you know?
So yes, we have. You're going to make me count here.
I'm just
Make lawyers do math.
Yes,
because we're talking
only
about
do
the
0.6.
entire state. Wow.
So yeah, we started with 130 dual license entities. Then of
Statewide.
course, yes. Then we have which means they're both medical and adult use. Then we have, I want to say, we've got a few additional adult. Those that are just in remote counties, and then we have the 27 adult use that are just social equity. So,
Lil Philosophy is asking, is there any chance that on a federal level this would be leveled down? Louis Gonzalez says, I use gummies to help with sleep and pain, and then Lisa Dinsmore says, I use it for anxiety. But back to that question, could it be leveled down?
we're talking about rescheduling, probably.
I believe so.
Yeah, so because federal legality is still a little bit different than the rescheduling. Certainly, it continues to be supposedly a priority. I'm going to say we are cautiously optimistic. We've had a few presidents say that, but I think we are closer than we've ever been. And obviously, if it's descheduled, it's helpful. It's really, though, more helpful from a tax perspective because, again, that's related to medical marijuana. It is not going to be full-scale federal legalization if it's rescheduled. So I think that's where some folks.
But a lot of these states have started to legalize it, and I think maybe as a big picture can start to see that, like you mentioned earlier, the sky's not falling.
The sky hasn't fallen, yes.
So is it true, because I've never purchased from a dispensary. I've done live shots. I'm just being honest.
There's no secrets here.
You can't, they only take cash?
So the banking is still challenging.
Yeah,
we do have some banking services, so not entirely. You will still have ATMs in the dispensaries. It's predominantly cash, but we do, at least at this stage, different than in the very beginning when it was a bit more the Wild West, we do have banking services.
Is that just because of it's not legal federally?
Yes.
And then some of these credit card companies wouldn't be able to?
Yes. So that's a possibility, maybe, depending on whether...
Well,
Anita wants to get her.
No, I'm not.
She wants those Amex points.
I like my Amex points. Believe me.
I have Discover, okay? I'm just asking for our friends here at home.
Yeah, no. If rescheduling happens, it'll be a step forward in the right direction. Congress will still need to do their job and work on the banking aspects of it, and so I think that's hopeful. I think if rescheduling happens, it's the first domino to fall. At least from a federal standpoint.
If I purchased some gummies for sleep and I gave Ty a gummy, is that legal? Is that okay? He's over 21, I'm over 21.
Yes.
I should both just,
Okay. What about like driving with it? If you get pulled over, what can you be? So if you're not under the influence of it, but you just have it in your car, so you haven't taken any, you just have the container in your car? You just have the container in your car. Like open container.
Yeah, so there's limits to it, right? If you went in and made a recreational purchase, didn't have a medical card, there's limits to how much you can have. But if you're driving with it, that's fine.
Okay.
But as far as like impairment and things like that, it's the same as alcohol.
Gotcha.
Right? You're not going out and driving a car or using heavy machinery after consuming some form of cannabis.
Have you seen more people getting those, I guess, citations, not DUI citations, but citations for driving under the influence of marijuana? Because I know that was a big concern when I was out on the street and we were talking to various different law enforcement agencies. They were saying, well, we don't, like, you can do a breathalyzer with alcohol. Right. We don't really have a way to, I mean, like, marijuana will hit him, one gummy will hit him different than it hits me, no matter what our tolerance levels are.
That's the difficulty, is being able to actually test at that point in time whether or not they're under the influence.
You can still do roadside tests, though. I mean,
There's
impairment is impairment.
Yeah.
It's certainly not as precise. We don't have the breathalyzers and the blood tests and things like that. Although science is certainly, it's coming along, and I think it's we'll soon have it. But I think it's more an issue of impairment and using the senses in their training and making
Laura,
a decision.
You mentioned that you kind of were on the front end of getting kind of the law on the books. Have any other states that don't have it legal yet come to Arizona or come to you guys to say, what did you guys do? How do we make sure that when we implement this, if we do, that we're doing it the right way? Because I mean, people are maybe looking. I know they look to Colorado because I worked in Colorado before here, and that was one of the first states to legalize
California, then Colorado.
Yeah.
I am from Colorado, poor Colorado and California. I feel like always get the brunt of. I'm like, but they were the first states. It's always more challenging when you're the first out of the gate. Yeah, over the years, I mean, especially because we didn't have a lot of lawyers. I mean, now everybody wants to
get in
it's
on
very
it.
cool.
They're getting smart.
We have become cool. In the beginning, there was a lot of lawyers and law firms who wouldn't touch cannabis law. And said, look, it's federally legal, you won't do it. And so there wasn't that many of us. And so you had a lot of different lawyers and state regulators from other states that would reach out and say, what's your experience? We would go and speak and do meetings and things like that. Because in Arizona Department of Health Services, look, it's been a learning curve. Nothing is perfect, but they really have done a good job. And we've all sort of learned and grown and become more sophisticated and figured it out together. But definitely there have been other states who have been interested in what are the mistakes and pitfalls and how do we not
Well, just like you said, a grandmother necessarily 10 years ago wouldn't be using recreational marijuana, and now they're jumping on board. So 10 years ago no one would touch it, and now everyone's like, well, maybe there's something to it. Yeah. So how do people find you if they needed more information? We have less than 30 seconds.
Sure.
BianchaBrandt.com.
Okay.
All right. Well, both of you, thank you so much for coming in. This was
very
really
interesting. Thank you.
Topic. Yeah. If you have any more topics, come back.
We're happy to. Would love to. Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Next time we'll talk about psychedelics.
Oh, dear.
Oh, okay. Next week. Yeah, that's a really hot topic.
All right, that's going to do it for us on this
Thursday. Did you make a gummy?
We didn't bring anything.
It's been one of those weeks.
So my husband always says to me,
Oh, boy.
well, you know.
Bye,
What are you
guys.
inhaling?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking live at what life is like today in Wisconsin. This is Boulder Junction. And I don't know, Des, kind of makes me wish the Green Bay Packers were still in the playoffs somehow. We could watch a very snowy game. Do you like
we
watching?
We could have watched a snowy game if the Buffalo Bills had won.
I was going to say, do you like watching the Bills in the snow?
I do, yeah. Are you kidding? That's like
I know.
Home field advantage at its finest.
Are you looking forward to this new stadium? My understanding is it's still...
We need one.
I hate the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to start playing in a dome. I'm like, okay, what's next? Are they going to put a dome over Lambeau Field? So I guess what they're doing in Buffalo is they're putting a roof just around the spectators, but the field will still be open to the snow.
Yeah, I mean, all of Buffalo and Bills Mafia would absolutely revolt if they put a dome on the stadium, I think.
Well, take that, Kansas City.
But also the fans might actually miss shoveling out the seats. I don't know. That'd be an interesting poll.
I mean, they pay them $20 an hour.
I've been there, done that. I have shoveled.
Have you really?
Yes,
do you have a photo? I got to see it.
Oh,
come on!
I have to ask my parents. I definitely don't on my phone. No, yeah, it's been so long, but yeah. And then when I worked in Buffalo, I did stories.
Was that like in your high school days or college days? When were you out
high
there
school.
shoveling?
Yeah, high school.
That's super cool.
Yeah, because my friends and I were old enough to drive out. So I love it. Yeah. Oh gosh, it's like the rite of passage in Buffalo.
Yeah. Well, I have a feeling that tomorrow this will be, all the snow and everything is going to be one of our big stories because they're saying 200 million people are in the path of this deep freeze, and it's going to hit Texas, and Texas can't handle it. I mean,
no,
I was so,
they're not equipped for that.
No, I was so impressed when I was changing planes in Detroit a few days ago, and they had like 10 snowplows just sitting there waiting for the next chance to kind of plow out the runway. And I thought that's how it's done. I'm sure in Buffalo and Cleveland and Pittsburgh, all those cities, I'm sure they know exactly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I am always impressed by that. Like, wow, it's incredible. Like, planes can land in the middle of a blizzard almost, essentially, in places that just, are used to that. That's kind of wild.
That's when the pilots earn their money.
Yeah.
Right? It's not on another smooth, beautiful blue sky, 80-degree day in Phoenix. It's when it's snowy and windy. And oh my
pretty
gosh.
Cool.
Okay, so there's a story that we have been following now for quite some time. It's the turquoise alert system. And there's some new court documents that are shedding light on an investigation into a missing young woman whose disappearance actually set off a turquoise alert just a few days ago. And even though Isabella Comas's boyfriend was arrested, her whereabouts are still a mystery. And our Danielle Miller was on this a little earlier this morning.
Yeah, good morning. And in these new court documents, it shows the evidence collected by investigators, which led them to her boyfriend, who is Tommy Rodriguez. And all of this is now unfolding. A probable cause document filed by the Avondale Police Department shows Isabella was last seen at a friend's home in Avondale on January 11th. The 21-year-old told the friend that she was going to see her boyfriend, 39-year-old Tommy Rodriguez, around 3 p.m. The friend also said the couple had gotten into an argument in the apartment complex parking lot earlier that day. She was expecting Isabella to pick her up from work later on Sunday evening, and when that didn't happen, she called police. A Life 360 application shows Isabella's phone moving between the friend's home, Rodriguez's home in Phoenix, and an industrial area in El Mirage, all before 8 p.m. that night. Someone found Isabella's phone at a recycling center in Phoenix. That person contacted Rodriguez, who picked it up. The Good Samaritan described Rodriguez's behavior as odd. The phone was turned over to Isabella's family, who then turned it over to the police. Police also note surveillance video captured a man believed to be Rodriguez at a gas station in Globe, an hour and a half away from Phoenix, driving Isabella's car early on the morning of January 12th. Cameras picked up the car coming back from Globe later that day, with the last sighting in Phoenix. The vehicle was reported by a resident who saw the car's description in a turquoise alert that went out for Isabella later in the day. Bloodstains were found inside of the car. The next day, on January 13th, Rodriguez flew to California. He was arrested when he landed back here in Phoenix on January 14th. He told police his trip was for work. He is currently charged with theft of a means of transportation and criminal damage in connection to Isabella's car, and is said to be a person of interest in her disappearance. There's no other suspects listed in the court documents. Rodriguez has a preliminary hearing scheduled for tomorrow. He also has a violent criminal history, which we have fully outlined on our website. If you do want to take a look at that, fox10phoenix.com. We'll send it back to you guys.
Danielle doing a great job covering it, and that's not the last you've heard of that story. Another one that we're following has to do with our poll question today after The Hill reported this morning on their website, and it was #1 trending. Is Mark Kelly seriously thinking about running for president in 2028? He certainly dropped a few hints in an interview with CNN. And so the poll question looks like this. Big D, you can let me know if we can access the YouTube poll question today or not. But here's the QR code version. Should he run for president? 12% say yeah. He's the perfect candidate to beat the Republicans. 74% say no. There are other Democrats with a better chance. There are obviously some bigger names out there, like an AOC or a Kamala Harris. And then 14% are saying, I'd rather see him keep serving as a senator for Arizona. QR code, if you grab it, we'll watch those numbers move around.
It'll be interesting to see what he does here. 42% in the YouTube poll says yes, he's the perfect candidate. 36% feel no. There are other Democrats with a better chance at potentially winning. 22% say they'd rather see him keep serving as a senator for Arizona. And this is just over 1,000 votes here.
Yeah. All right. So we would love to get your input on that for sure. So social media and the youth of not just America, but Australia.
The world.
I mean, they already put a ban in effect. They're seriously thinking about it in the UK, and it prompted us to get a hold of Michael Zwill, who is with Newport Healthcare, and tell us a little bit about your background and what really, Michael, got you interested in trying to look for some solutions.
Yeah, great question. So, I mean, my background, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I've worked with, children and adolescents, and the social media topic is certainly not a new one. And certainly adults struggle with their own balance and what that looks like for them as well. But especially with children and adolescents, I found that social media and different platforms, video games, all of those different things has had such a significant impact on their development, how they view the world, ability to cope with different situations. So, my work that I've done in my life, and of course with Newport Healthcare, has really been centered around adolescent mental health treatment, and this has been a big topic.
So what is the most startling thing you've seen as it relates to child development and social media? The thing that has jumped out, surprised you the most, maybe disgusted you the most even?
Yeah, so I mean, adolescence, it's a critical time for brain development and their ability to kind of identify, as individuals. By teens prematurely labeling themselves based on social media content, it can increase anxiety, limit emotional resilience, and make normal ups and downs feel almost pathological. The other issue is self-diagnosing can also delay proper treatment or cause teens to overlook underlying issues that require individualized and professional care. So I would say that has been, in my opinion, one of the bigger concerns that I've seen, where individuals are diagnosing themselves and not always seeking appropriate care because of what they're finding online.
Based on your experience, is the answer a government ban, like we've already seen and being discussed in other countries, or is there any kind of venue for appropriate, say, pre-16 or even pre-17 use for social media, as long as the parents get a little bit more involved?
Yeah, well, I think that's the big question. I mean, I think it's going to look different for everyone. So, it's one of those things where it's a great question, but I think it's going to look very different on individuals, situation. And I think really the main word or the main concept is creating a healthier balance. So that's going to look like, parents, of course, stepping in and having these conversations with their kids. I think for parents, especially to your point, being curious rather than judging is key. Parents have a great ability to ask things like, what types of content their teens are viewing, what resonates with them, things of that nature. And it just allows kids to feel as though it's coming from less of a place of judgment and more from a question of, genuine curiosity, which will make them more willing to kind of let their parents in and, of course, allow parents to then seek professional support if need be.
So are there any positives as it relates to mental health and mental development then and social media platforms?
Yeah, I mean, social media has been a beautiful thing. As with most things, it's, things are a blessing and a curse. In certain ways, social media has been wonderful, allowing people to have different platforms for creativity, a lot of different avenues that people could go down that they didn't historically have access to. There's also, when we talk about trends in social media and different platforms, there's also some really endearing and wonderful things that people are doing. Like there's this one particular thing that's happening right now with obviously us being in January and the new year, where people are recapping their year, but kind of putting like a healing twist on it in that sense, and really kind of being vulnerable and authentic, which I think for many people kind of seeing that level of positivity and people kind of disclosing maybe some ups and downs they've had and how they've overcome that. I think it can be very motivating for many individuals. And there's a lot of other trends that kind of encourage taking a digital detox, self-care, things of that nature that really look to promote good mental health.
Well, we've got to wrap up here. We've only got a minute or so left. What's a good takeaway for parents if they are concerned, they don't know how to approach their kids, they don't know how to monitor their activity on the phone, and maybe the trouble signs to be on the lookout for?
Yeah, so I think first and foremost, it's always being curious, speaking to your teens, kind of seeing exactly what's going on, and not hesitating to reach out and getting that support, if need be. A lot of times parents, I think, sometimes feel as though they're on an island and they have to figure it out on their own, and there are tons of resources out there. We have a wonderful website with a ton of resources, newporthealthcare.com, which is a great opportunity for a lot of individuals to find some different things that might be close to where they live.
All right, Michael, thank you so much. We appreciate your time today. It was insightful.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
A lot of good takeaways there, Des, I felt, in just a few minutes, which is, we do interviews like this, and we want to really drill down and get the takeaways that can help parents.
Yeah, and definitely, I mean, obviously, if you're a parent and you're allowing a lot of screen time, whether that be on the gaming devices, on social, I mean, we hear over and over, time and time again, that it does tend to have a lot of negative side effects on our children. It's just not worth it.
I remember when we were raising our kids, we just had a computer in a common area in the kitchen. And if you wanted to be on the computer, but look how much life has changed. Now everybody's on their phone, and it's just so much more work for parents to get involved, but you really got to do it.
It's just like everything in moderation, right?
Yeah.
It's just another thing that you have to monitor and watch.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so where's this pretty little slice of American life? It's Mystery Cam time. Give us your guesses. All right. Welcome back. Every morning at 1:45 Des and I pop one of these cameras up from somewhere across this great land of ours. Des, do you have any guesses as to where this might be? I love those mountains off in the background.
I'm going Idaho with B. Miguel.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to kind of stay up in that same part of the country. I'm trying to decide if it's up in Canada or because some of those mountains look like Canadian mountains.
Yeah, you think?
But it could also be up in the Northwest. I feel like if it's going to be in my
Alabama, what do you think of that?
Well, maybe. I feel like if it's going to be in my old country of the Northwest up there in Washington, and I don't guess it, I'll be like super embarrassed. So I'm going to say Washington. Oh, hold on, everybody. Our guest for the next 15 minutes is Ron Funches. Here he is right now.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah, that's right.
Hi.
And this is such an exciting game. Ron wants to participate. Ron, do you have any guesses?
I was just playing along and watching, and I was just going off of the structure of some of the buildings. I do also believe it's in the Northwest, that what looks to be some type of complex or bank reminds me, and it almost like I could see either a Walgreens or Fred Meyer's type establishment, which makes me feel like it might be Washington or perhaps even Utah, but I, like you, am going Washington.
Nice. Okay, so Ron and Ron, the team of Ron and Ron, Des.
I don't know.
We are on board with the Great Northwest. By the way, I'm from Washington, and this Ron's from Oregon. Used to live up that way,
There
right?
you go. So you guys would know.
Okay.
Oh, Desiree doesn't sound impressed by that at all.
I know. I know.
Are you ready for the answer? Do you think if Ron and Ron are right,
Correct.
then there's something fishy going on?
And generally, the ladies are really impressed when you drop an Oregon reference. Am I right about this, Ron, or what? Huh? Come on.
Nah, I got more questions
I
about
used
Oregon.
to live in Oregon. Anyway, Des, all right, what do you think?
All right. Oh, we are all wrong.
Oh, no.
It's Sevierville, Tennessee.
Oh,
I would have never guessed that.
For goodness
No.
sake. So that's the Great Smokies? Let's go back.
Wow. So that's right near Knoxville.
Yes.
Just like.
Right.
Yeah, right. Just north of Pigeon Forge.
Yes, it's right up there by Dollywood, I was going to say.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Oh, I get it. I see it now because I don't see any nice cars. You're right.
There you go. No, that's true. That's funny.
There you go. Okay, so, and I will just say, I resisted the temptation to, I saw on the very bottom of the screen, Ron, you probably picked up on this too, the Lodge at Five Oaks, and it didn't ring a bell from Washington or Oregon, but it still looks so much like it. But man, I'm telling you, the Great Smokies, they are one beautiful stretch of the USA.
They certainly are.
Oh, absolutely. I love Tennessee. One of my favorite places to visit.
Nice. Now, when you do you ever, as part of your stand-up routine, Ron, do you come out to the Valley very often?
Is that what you call yourself?
Oh, we're the Valley of the Sun. Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'm quite familiar with your valley. My mother and sister both live in the outskirts of Phoenix.
Nice.
Yeah, so I visit often. I actually spent the Christmas up there doing a Polar Express. So it was a real fun time. I love what you guys. I love the mountains you guys have over there. It's great.
Yeah. Nice. What does your mom cook for Christmas dinner?
She's retired from that. She'll make a sweet potato pie.
Oh,
and
yes.
then the rest is we're on our own.
Good for her.
She's passed the torch.
Hey, you know what? Let's have some fun here. We have a couple other stories that we were going to talk about. Why don't you just sort of join in and give us your take on all this? So here's the biggest thing that's happening in town this week. Or one of the big things is this
I was hoping you would adjust.
Good. Is this Barrett Jackson auto auction. And I'm going to roll the video because I think you can see it on your end as well. And so
I think Ron's got enough money to buy cars like this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if you've already dropped a dime or two on some of these vehicles. My understanding is they're still for sale. But anyway, yesterday, a custom 1966 Volkswagen bus sold for $102,000.
Oh, that was probably Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias. He loves those. He loves those.
And a classic 1994 Cadillac Fleetwood went for also $102,000. And I'm told, now we're just looking kind of generically at some of the coolest cars there, but there was a custom 1996 Ford F-150 pickup truck that sold for $88,000. This is
wow. So Ron, which one did you end up walking away with?
I got the Hot Wheel version of a few of those.
Oh,
But the real life is a little bit. You see, I got the arcade machines. These are more the $3 to $5 grand. That's where I'm comfortable with wasting money.
Right?
Not the six figures.
Well,
those are some cool collectibles. That's for sure, right behind you.
Yeah, you got to go out to Barrett-Jackson because one of the things that's so cool is it's not just cars for sale, but they have all kinds of arcade games. There's one guy who sells these authentic pinball machines.
Yeah,
like super
he is
cool,
out
like
there.
$5,000, $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 pinball machines.
Yeah, nice to
They
walk
got
around and look at the
everything
cars, but there's experiences too.
Right.
You can get in a car and drive fast. I mean,
Sure.
that's what they're all about, is testing out some of these vehicles.
Yeah.
So.
All right, now we wanted to get your opinion on this one, okay? If a sports team is really, really bad, I mean really bad.
Oh, Ron, you're teeing this up all wrong.
Correct. Well, okay, they lost. Let's say they're kind of bad. Maybe they have a bad game. Okay.
All right.
And it's an away game, so it's not like a stadium filled with 50,000 fans, but say 1,000 of them or 500 traveled to go see the team in Norway. And it was freezing cold. It was above the Arctic Circle, and it was a miserable experience in the stands, but they also lost. Should they or should they not offer a refund to those fans?
No, not at all. You made the choice. You went to Norway, of all places. Support the team, win or lose. That's what I've learned as a Chicago Bulls fan. I grew up as a kid thinking that championships were something that were just a right that I got every year. And then now I haven't seen one in 20-something years, and I would still go to Norway. I've seen the Bulls in Paris, which I guess is a lot more fun than Norway, probably.
Well, Ron, I was going to ask you now. I don't think this is possible. We're talking hypothetical. All right, you're on stage. You're doing your show. Nobody laughs. Are you giving them a refund?
No, I mean, that is, what type of reality is this? I've never, I can't even comprehend this, that this could happen. That no one is laughing? What?
That's never happened.
He's like, I'm not doing I hit a home run every time.
Every time. Yes. If no one is, that's crazy. No, but either way, no, that means work must be harder for me that day. They must have came in with a bunch of bad attitudes. If anything, they need to give me more money.
Ah, there you go.
Right? I like that.
So it's a very true story, though. Believe it or not, this Manchester soccer team offered refunds to the tune of about $13,000 to the hundreds of fans who traveled to go see him.
Nothing.
I have never heard of this happening before.
Yeah. Well,
ever. But it happened.
There you go. So maybe the players should start practicing a little more.
Yeah, probably. They said they were embarrassed. We'll see if it ever happens again. That is a trend I want to follow closely. Okay, so one other thing. How often do you order stuff from Amazon on, say, a daily basis?
Yeah, pretty daily, Ron. You got me. I try to build them up if I can, do a weekly order, but sometimes you need something that next day.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so Amazon, this is cracking Des and me both up. They are getting into the so they're the disruptor that probably put, I don't know, hundreds of big box stores out of business. Who knows? Maybe they were responsible for the demise of Kmart. Walmart seems to be doing okay. Target is maybe kind of struggling a little bit, but they just announced they're getting into the big box retail business. They are going to launch a store that they say will be bigger. This is Amazon now, bigger than a Walmart supercenter. They're going to put the very first one out in your neck of the woods in a little suburb of Chicago called Orland Park. Is this going to work?
That's just a victory lap. That's when you know you done conquered the market. You're like, we done put all of the grocery stores out of business. Let's just open up a grocery store. We said you didn't need them, but how about now just come to ours? That's
like
just
throwing
pure
more
hubris.
salt on the wound,
frankly,
isn't
I'm
it?
here for it.
Yeah, pure hubris. I love it.
Oh.
Okay, by the way,
ouch.
BB, our Brian Bluve is from here at the station, says, what the heck is going on in the traders? This season is nuts. What was the hardest or best part of being on the show?
Oh, I mean, the best part is, of course, Alan Cumming and Lala, his lovely dog. Alan is just such a tremendous host. He brings such a sense of ownership to the traders. He's so stylish, as everyone knows. And he's also a very, very kind man. And it was a pleasure to be there and watch the way he works and be in that beautiful. The other part is how beautiful that castle is. It's so gorgeous. It's like one of the main reasons I wanted to go is I'd never been to Scotland, and I've never seen a castle like that live and in person, and to actually be able to stay and live there and sleep there and try to find out who the murderers were is an experience I'll never forget, even though a lot of those people were very mean to me. But if you want to come hear me talk trash about a bunch of housewives, come to the shows this weekend.
Well, tell us where we can see ya.
Yeah, where can we catch you this weekend in the Valley?
Desert Ridge Improv. I'll be there coming to see you guys on Friday and Saturday. 2 shows each night. Come on down. I believe most of the early shows are getting close to sold out, so please get your tickets right away. And it'll be fun because, again, they put me on a very tight NDA. I can't talk about much that you did not see on camera unless no one else is recording. So if you want to hear the real gossip and me really talk trash, come to the shows this weekend.
Okay.
Oh, we don't have to sign an NDA though, right?
Right? Oh, look at that zoom in. Man, whoever's running your camera just gave you the perfect zoom in. Whoever that guy is, give him a raise.
Okay, I have a quick question for you. You are in 2 movies that my kids absolutely love, Trolls, Inside Out 2. Who did you have more fun voicing over, Cooper or Bluefy?
Oh, it's hard to say. I mean, Cooper, I love because Cooper came first for me. It was my first big animated role, and it's a character that I have such a tremendous love and ownership for. Like of all the Trolls characters, I believe I'm the only actor that has like voiced their character in the movie, the TV show. They're doing a theme park ride coming out, and I was like, I'll be Cooper for that.
Cool.
I love that character, but Bluefy,
I mean, you poop cupcakes. How can you not love Cooper?
Yes, you can't go wrong with pooping cupcakes. That way, it's magical, and then you got a meal right after.
Right there. That's like perfect.
Oh man!
But I love Bluefy because I love Pixar, and Inside Out was one of my favorite movies of all time. So to be in the sequel with Amy Poehler and those people is amazing to me. So I can't really choose.
Yeah. Oh, great overall message.